Hi, I'm Marc from SoonExistent, and I don't like games. I love games!
Oh, I don't know if I'll ever recover from that intro.
We at SoonExistent I will be theming each month's set of games. This month's going to be like well-known games. Like when you think fighting games, like these are the main ones that you're going to be thinking of. Like top of the list. I'm talking Tekken. I'm talking Street Fighter, Smash Bros, Mortal Kombat. 4 games that are fairly popular and very iconic to the fighting game scene. I'm sure there are more iconic games, but those are the first ones that came to mind. Obviously, I'm not gonna go through each and every single one of them per video. That'd be too easy. That will just have a Smash Bros month. Easily peasily. But I try to make things hard. Stop that. Sorry, my cat was messing with the lights. Every time I do the 4 points, it's gonna be a lot harder to do with less well-known games. But the more you know, I keep forgetting to actually say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. The entire point of this video is to say, hey, you should play this game. And just introduce more games that would be fun to play. It's not that simple. Never that simple. Ever. Each video we have 4 points. History, IRL significance, story, in-universe significance, fandom, personal significance, and future significance in general. Oh boy, this one's gonna be a long one. Trust me, I will cut this down so much because Smash Brothers is one of my most favorite games in ever. It's like one of the first video games I've ever played. I'm pretty sure the N64 was my first console. Because my family's a bunch of nerds. You may be wondering, what is the IRL significance of Smash Brothers? Well, today is actually the anniversary of Smash Brothers. Back in January 21st of 1999, Smash Brothers for the N64 came out. And boy howdy, was it different. Normally when you have a fighting game, you have your own characters to establish its own story. To have just blanket characters that the players can play, enjoy with a little sprinkle of, hey, this character has some depth to them. But because Sakurai, the creator of Smash, was like, hey, we have some IPs we can use. Why not just use them instead of the same old generic fighters? Like this Dragon King game we're trying to develop. It doesn't have that oomph with it. But you know who does have an oomph? Well-known characters like Mario and Kirby. And Link. And thus, Smash Brothers for the N64 was born. 1999 was like a pretty good year for games. And Smash Brothers was just another one of those games that was like, hey, this is interesting. So anyway, at the very start, at the very least, Nintendo has been on for what, 100 years at that point? Nintendo was founded in 1885. It's like at least 100 years old. Ironically, it first started doing card games and like cards. which I'm guessing is where Pokemon went or came from. So now you know. Now you know. Now it's a game company. Video games. And believe me, the next part of the next part of this segment story, I am going to keep it as brief as I physically can. Because there's a lot more to the story than meets the eye. And thus, Smash Brothers was born. You got Mario, Donkey Kong. Yeah, Donkey Kong, it was in the first one. Yoshi, Pikachu, Link, Samus, Captain Falcon, Jigglypuff, Ness, and Luigi. There's only 8 characters in the game. I think I miscounted. As I will get into the story, the games themselves borrow heavily with Sakurai's own childhood, and up until the most recent game has gone into like a very therapeutic and sort of analogy territory. It's kind of hard to explain. That's why I'm going to link a video explaining it more, because I don't have enough time in this video to actively grab your attention and actually speak about the entirety of what I know. I can also talk about more about my own history with this. I have said it's my first game that I've ever played, ever. Story. Oh boy, story. This one is going to be a doozy. Absolute doozy. So, I'm going to keep this as brief as I physically can. So, the story of Smash Brothers. In-universe logistics is suggesting that it's a kid playing with toys of like popular characters and using their imagination to make everything. And that's why in the original N64 version, the characters are being pulled out of a box and flopped onto a table, and that's rearranged into the stage. That's why we have set number of ones, because that's the IPs that were out at the time. Moving on to Melee, the kid has grown up, having a lot more money to buy themselves like better toys, but still having that like nostalgic feel of, hey, I like this character. I'm gonna play more. I'm gonna get more stuff of him. Hence, them being trophies in Melee, and the idea of a gachapon, which is, if you don't already know, then where have you been? It's essentially a vending machine, like the same. Yeah, essentially a vending machine. Kind of. It's like a mystery vending machine. If you don't already know, if you do know, then explanation was horrible. But in Melee, you have trophies for everything of the non-playable characters and the playable characters. Each trophy has its own story, and there's many different trophies for many different things. In it, it says that the master hand, essentially the kid, grows up. I would get into the nitty and gritty of the very specifics, very story. Master hand essentially being the kid, and all that stuff. In Melee GameCube version, being the kid grew up and has their own money to like buy more stuff, and is now enjoying the thing. Well, Brawl. Oh boy, I have to limit myself from speaking the story of Brawl, because it is my absolute favorite game of all time, because it is the only one with a story and with specific cutscenes. I am going to only put it here in the story section because I forgot to mention it in the history section that Brawl, Smash Brothers Brawl, or Super Smash Brothers Brawl, is the only Smash Brothers game with an active storyline. And that being, the characters know their trophies. They are being attacked by this big bad, and we don't exactly know who. And, hard to describe. And so they're trying to figure out why it's happening, how to save their friends, as well as trying to stop the big bad, obviously. And then the big bad shows up. And it's sort of like a metaphor for the digital age, growing up, and having these little specific things that could be wrong and are wrong sometimes. The negativity of like growing up and being a creative, it's hard to describe. I'm gonna link the video. And then it also is the game that introduces Crazy Hand, like the more destructive side. It might also have been in Melee, but we get the Master Hand and the Crazy Hand being two halves of the same person, essentially. Everybody wants to be creative, do things properly, and like have fun with it, be gentle. But then everybody has that chaotic tendency of just destroy, 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 no mercy. But that's essentially Brawl in a nutshell. Trust me, this game is so good. It's one of the hyper focuses. Brawl. Next comes Wii U and 3D version. Literally it's called Smash Brothers Wii U and 3D and 3DS. So, this one is a little more laid back with the subtle imagery and all that stuff. It has the idea of putting it back into Brawl with like the trophies and hidden imagery and like story mode. It's the basics of Melee with more characters. Yeah, that's basically it. Unfortunately, it's a good set of story. It introduces us to like more characters, more IPs, all that such. And then we have Smash Brothers Ultimate, the end all be all of Smash Brothers. It might not be the end, but it is a stopping point for the time being. And I'm talking about it has every single character that has ever been in Smash as a fighter in this fighter. And then some. And trust me, people were ecstatic with who was chosen. I'm talking reaction videos. I'm talking theory videos. I'm talking everything out the wazoo. Obviously also has the DLC stuff, all that jazz. Here's the issue with this one. It has a story mode, but doesn't have a story mode, if that makes sense. So in Ultimate, it's shown that there's a big bad who essentially is the Master Hand and turn them into essentially giant laser beams that destroys everything, turning everything into spirits. In the game, the quote-unquote dead fighters are possessed by said spirits, and essentially you have to fight them to get the spirit and like save, your friends. Essentially, it takes after almost directly after Brawl, the Subspace Emissary. I mean, obviously with more characters, but keep saying a lot. Trying to backtrack. Buffer. Anyway, yes, the only one to escape is Kirby, And that's why we play as Kirby at the beginning. The more characters you unlock, the more people you get to play with. It's actually a very nice thing because you essentially get started with just the N64 characters and then build up more. It's actually very nice. Very good. Very prime. It has these two god-like entities that you do fight for like life, essentially. The light dude and the dark dude. Essentially being the light and creativity, and essentially being my idea of them is that they're the internet, the good side and the bad side of the internet. The bad side being destroy everything like Crazy Hand, and build something in the darkness that isn't as good. It's hard to describe. And the light being the creative side of the enjoyment of all this, the creative, the yeah, we got this. It's all good. I mean, the video I'm linking is gonna explain it significantly better than I am. And now I am going to have the most difficult time explaining the fandom because oh my god. Fuck. The fandom. Oh my god, am I going to have a difficult time doing this because I want to rant about some of these fans, especially the professionals, because god damn. I've talked before about the type of people who are like, oh, you're only good because you're using this character. It's like, no, I'm just good at the game. I'm just good at using this character. And I'm good at fighting against you. This Smash Brothers has been going on for a really long time and has gained the toxicity of the most somehow. It's hard to describe accurately without being present in a type of game like that. Think Cheeto stained game controllers, but with Nintendo. And when I say professionals, I also have like this really weird tendency. There's so many there are so many instances where a professional Smash Brothers player is dogging on other people or fans or something because they use a specific character that they like, essentially. And people who play it professionally and essentially are tryhards are aiming, how do I say this with properly, are aiming to like analyze and characterize each and every character based on how they do in a fighting game. I, for the life of me, don't totally enjoy that level of content. Like, it sucks when somebody says, "Oh, what's your favorite game?" and I say Smash Brothers, and they instantly think, "Oh, so you're trying to be a professional, trying to do the tournaments and all that, and are good at the game." It's like, no, I just enjoy the characters and have fun with it. Like, it has gotten that reputation of goddamn. It's hard to describe. I have the reputation of, okay, so Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers equals professional player. Tournaments. So you must be into tournaments. Nah, not really. I mean, I get hyped with the casual tournament, but like, I'm not good at the game. I'm not good at any game enough to say I can do it professionally. No way in hell. I can do it entertainingly, but not professionally. No way in hell. And that's just sort of life. I mean, look at me now. We're talking about games for an entire year. Because I chose to. Fun. Bro. So, I'm gonna leave it there at fandoms and talk about the future of Smash Brothers. I did not put a lot because there's not really going to be... There's no plans for more Smash Brothers games, nor are there plans for any Smash Brothers characters. But that doesn't leave people speculating, oh, surprise DLC, or something like that. And honestly, I don't know about you, but I'm waiting for my boy to go into Smash Bros. His whole boy is going to be a doozy. And thank you all for joining me on this journey. Leave in the comments down below. Probably should talk more about the future, technically speaking. So, I mean, that's basically it. That's not. You can't talk about anything more than saying, "Hey." Oops. Than saying, "Hey, there's no plans for anything in the future, but you can speculate." Bye. So, thank you all for joining me on this lovely game. Talking about this lovely game. And, as always, leave in the comments down below, what character would you want in Smash Brothers? I need to actually do the, hey, at calls of action. Subscribe if you want me to do this more. And like and comment. Because, YouTuber stuff. Want to do this as a job. Pretty cool. Pretty fun. So, Smash Brothers. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. Hope to see y'all again next time. And as always, keep smiling. Don't forget to be a little crazy. I'm using the wrong outro. Hold on. So anyway, thank you all for joining. Hope to see y'all again next time. And as always, if what you want doesn't exist, smash it. That has a different connotation in the nowadays internet. Make it. Gotta be careful with that. Gotta be careful with that. Bye, everybody!